Hello, hello. So I've been made aware of this debug mod. It's actually it's a mod that restores the debug menu for SMT5, and it can be used in Vengeance. Apparently, it's something that could be used in Switch, but I've only been made aware of it recently, and it allows you to view content in the files of the game, including some cut stuff. So I was interested in like going over it. It's kind of like a final thing for SMT5. Since I pretty much, I think I got the experience I wanted from Vengeance for now. I did beat like the base game. I got like the law ending for Vengeance. I tried to do, I did beat Samael, and I tried to do the Satan and Demifiend fights recently, and I haven't gotten those done yet. But I think like the experience, like the basic experience I got. So I will eventually be working on videos for those, but it could be a while. There's a lot that I have to go over, and of course there's a lot of other stuff going on in my life that prevents me from getting to videos right away. However, I thought it'd be neat to make a video about this, since I've already made, there was the one cut content video that I made for SMT5 while I was on the Switch, and then I made, when Vengeance was being teased, and they were showing a bunch of stuff, I went over the cut content again. I was like, okay, what is Vengeance restoring? Like, what are they adding to the game that was cut before based on what we see in the trailers? And now that the game is out, I will once again have to go over the cut content and see, okay, what has the entire game, like what from what I've experienced, what has it restored from the cut content? What has it added? And it will be interesting to see if anything still got cut. Like if even in Vengeance there was stuff that was added to the game that still didn't make it for some reason, because there's always a chance. From what I've seen, even that they added stuff to Vengeance while they're working on it, and then it didn't make it in. Which the only thing. It's probably going to be, I want to say it's most likely, if there's anything that got cut, it's probably going to be in, like, dialogue. Mainly because I saw some posts about even, like, dialogue for the new endings. Like, extra dialogue or stuff that describes, like, the new endings. You know how they had the endings in SMT5 where the narrator would describe how the world was. Like whether you choose law or chaos or true neutral, it'd say, okay, well, this is the world that you chose. These are events that are happening in it. Yada yada. Apparently that is the case for like the endings and Vengeance. And it seems like maybe some dialogue, a different way of describing that world was cut. But it'll be interesting to see if I can see any of those in this the debug. I'll put a link to the debug mod in the description of the video. From what I'm aware, when you use the mod and you place it in the files, it allows you to access the debug menu right away when you open up the game. The only issue with it is it might soft lock if it's trying to access files that aren't actually in the folders, but apparently some of those files may be things that were taken out of Vengeance that were previously in the Switch version, so we'll see. So there is the viewer. Motion viewer. Okay, so you can actually view... I mean, this is something... Now, before this, having access to this makes it easier, of course, than the whole process of trying to load the animations in Blender. Because before, what I would do is you'd have to find the models first, and you need to get a plugin. If you're using Blender, you need a specific plugin to import the models first, and then you import the animations like individually in order to be able to view them. We have a lot of demons here. Oh, this does show the... Okay, so this shows the animations. Interesting. Let me get in a little bit closer. It looks like the model's just slightly, something wrong with the model here. Just slightly. I think the great thing about this is that, you can view... Compared to me trying to view the animations in Blender, you can view everything in engine and with the proper shaders attached to it. He has interesting, he still has that backstep. Oh, yeah. The only thing is even compared to the Blender animations, this is a little funky. Heavy damage. Is that because he's like, his feet are tied to a specific spot here? Yeah, compared to the Blender, trying to do this through Blender, the animations here look really weird. Whenever I do it through the process of Blender and have the animations apply there, they actually do look normal. But it seems like for some reason he's like locked to one spot. They still have that backstep. That's interesting. I don't think he ever uses a backstep at all. Like even in Vengeance, they had in my cut content video, he has animations that would make it seem he was originally meant to be in battle as a human. Heavy damage. Takes damage there. Yeah, he's got animations for battle. Let's just see if any... Yeah, this is, yeah, see? Yeah, the animations are all messed up here. I'm not entirely sure why, compared to when I showed them in Blender. So perhaps it might be... I was thinking of doing this too, because I had the files for Vengeance as well. The debug's okay, but it might still be better for me to go through the files and do the whole process through Blender because... Okay, that looks proper. Because it seems like some of the animations through the debug are not displaying as best as they could. Yeah, see, he still has a skill. It's bizarre. I'm sure people have made mods to maybe restore him. I know they did for Aogami, because Aogami has battle animations. So I assume maybe someone has, at least by now, if they haven't already, hopefully someone can make a mod that, like, puts him in the party as, like, a human character that you can use. Because he's got, yeah, he's got the skills. He has a weird... Let's see if we can zoom out on that. He does... The thing is he has... when I looked at the files, unfortunately the animation is not displaying properly here, but in my cut content video, he has a book that's treated as a weapon. And he has attack animation, so I assumed maybe he hits people with his book, which should be on par for him, since he's big on books. Oh, okay, that's a low health. Interesting. Yeah, see, he even has a an injured animation too. So, like I said before, these are in the files as if they intended for him to be in battle as a human, and that's something I was hoping for in Vengeance that we'd get. Because you do run around in Tokyo. They had a few quests where you run around in Tokyo. There's even the Turbo Grandma thing. So I was like, oh, well, maybe we'll get a few quests where him and Aogami are like split apart and they're battling without like the demons and stuff in Tokyo, and just sort of like dealing with more minor threats where they don't have to be a Nahobino. It is funny because in the Turbo Grandma quest, it does seem like you're chasing after her without being combined as a Nahobino. Because my thought during that was like, okay, why aren't you guys like, wouldn't it be easier to catch her if you were a Nahobino, but maybe because they were in Tokyo, he didn't want to run around as a combined form. Let's see, damage. There's also this, yeah, this idol. I've seen this idol animation before, and it's in my cut content video too. He has an interesting, I think he's just like straightening out his shoulders. I just found it kind of funny. This also has all of the Nahobinos. I'm pretty sure these are all... Of course, these are all used because you of course run around through most of the game as the Nahobino. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Run. When does he run like this? This is the running. I want to say it's interesting. We never see... He's actually flying here. And the reason this is interesting to me is because there is a running animation for Aogami, but he's flying. Like, Aogami actually, like, looks like he's flying through the air for his running animation. So, if we saw Nahobino doing this... Now, there are some cutscenes where he's, like, floating up because there's stuff going on, but in the game itself, he's never shown flying, and we can't make use of that. Even the jump he gets is pretty pitiful, but, this reminds me of Aogami's running animation, which, you know, he is, as an Nahobino, he's supposed to have Aogami's body. Just sized down to the protagonist, and it looks different when they're combined, but this is interesting. It's never used, I guess. Oh, Tsukuyomi. Which, yeah, you get to see... That's interesting. That's like the first one. Yeah, I didn't get... unfortunately, you don't get to see the Nahobino forms if you do the vengeance route. It's kind of a shame you don't. Of course, like, you know, Yuzuru ends up dying early, and they do not get to become a Nahobino. Instead, you and Koshimizu become a new Nahobino form instead. But I was kind of hoping, I guess I'll talk about this later, but I was kind of hoping, like, there would be a thing where Yuzuru gets brought back, or I assumed his death. I didn't know the exact circumstances of his death, but before I played the game, I thought maybe the same thing that happened to Aogami happened to Yuzuru, and that maybe Yuzuru would get brought back in the end, and he would combine with Koshimizu, and they become like a different Nahobino than this one, and the protagonist gets to combine with Aogami, and you'd have a team up between both of them. But no, that did not happen. Koshimizu and Yuzuru end up dying, just like in the creation round. It's very unfortunate. We didn't get a team up with the two brothers. I'm very sad about that. I always thought Tsukuyomi's... I probably talked about this too. This is discussed in the game, but the Nahobino form that Yuzuru and Koshimizu take in creation is has more of a robotic look to it, and I think it's brought up in Vengeance that that's because Koshimizu is the one dominating it, when in reality the knowledge is supposed to be the one domineering the form. But in the case of a lot of the Nahobinos we encounter in creation, a lot of them, the demon part of those Nahobinos are sort of taking over those forms. So I assume that's why they look the way they do. Let me check the animations here. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be... I mean, I've only fought Tsukuyomi once, so I'm not gonna really know if there's anything new here. Huh, he has a... That's interesting. He has a... It says this is a run. I guess this is like a dash. Maybe he uses it in the cutscene for it. But this reminds me of Aogami's dash in the files, where he's shown where it looks like he's flying. So, and of course, Tsukuyomi is a proto-fiend, so I assume that makes sense. So I should probably mention I'm definitely not going to be showing all the demons, but there's a few I want to look at. Look at him being cool. I've never... Does he actually do that? His idle animation? When you're fighting him? I don't remember that. I just remember him just standing there, really. Maybe he does. It's just like, it gives me the impression that he's just showing off. It's like, look, I can spin my scythe behind me because I'm so cool. We still don't get to see a lot of Amanozako. At least you get... Okay, they have the garden animations in here at least. Yeah, that was another thing. I'll probably bring it up again. Let's see if I can switch off the... I don't know if I can change the environment effects. Maybe in the graphics settings would be good, because there's a lot of bloom and lighting here. Makes it pretty light. But yeah, they still really didn't do much with the Amanozako in Vengeance. Once again, it's like you get the same quests, maybe a little extra dialogue, and then like there's stuff in the haunt, but they really didn't. See, command? I don't remember her using that animation. It might be one of her skills though that I just don't remember. And then another of the protagonist. It's another protagonist model. I assume everything's gonna be the same here. Looks like it, yeah. Oh, this one is for... Okay, so this one has the animations for when you're starting in the game and you're a dot. I remember in the files, I came across... there's a specific type of protagonist folder that says, like, Hero Chicken. It's labeled chicken. But it's for the animations of when you're first starting out in Dot, and so he's like slightly scared. Let's see the idol here. It's funny that it still has the attack animations for all of these folders. For some reason, it's still, like, I guess, like I said, they probably originally intended for him to be used in battle, and it just... Or, like, maybe when you're starting out, and you didn't meet Aogami. I'm just assuming you might have not come across Aogami for a while, and so you had to actually fight demons on your own without being a Nahobino. Maybe you would have had to recruit demons for a little bit before you meet Aogami. But in the finished version of the game, you become a Nahobino right away. So I think people probably would have liked to fight as a human form first, and to like wait a while before you become like this powerful being. Does this become a Navigator Demon? I don't know, because it's not listed as devil, it's listed as player. Maybe you get it in the creation route? I still need to... I haven't come across it yet, though. I'm at the Fairy Village in the creation route in Vengeance, so I have not come across anything yet. Maybe it was originally intended as a Navigator, and they didn't, maybe he was too big to be a Navigator. I would have liked this, though. Okay, and these are all the devil files. Oh, well, yeah, that's a big spoiler. Devil 1, immediately Satan. Yeah, that's why this... I'll have to put a disclaimer in the beginning of the video, because there's a bunch of spoiler demons. I've already tried to fight him. He is a very hard boss. I do think he's harder than Demifiend, in my opinion. Like, a Demifiend felt definitely doable, but I still haven't finished it yet. I believe Satan was actually in the cut content, now that I remember. I don't think Lucifer was, and I don't remember... Well, Lucifer's in the game. The angelic-looking version of him. I don't know if he was unlockable as a demon in the original version of Vengeance, though. And of course, you see the demon form of Lucifer earlier in the game, but I don't remember if you could even use him. Satan, if I recall, was in the cut content for the original game in the files. So that is something that has been restored. Dagda was also part of the cut content as well. She has a running... Yeah, she also has a running animation. Do we actually see her? Like, this is also... It's interesting, because a lot of these demons will have... animations like this, but I don't think I've ever seen it being used. Because all of these are like combat animations, and then you have the one for when she's in the garden. Would have been interesting to have... I know they have the Navigator demons, but I guess it would have been interesting if they had something that allowed basically any demon to follow you around. Does she also have a running animation? She does. Huh, that is fascinating. I don't think we... Why would they have... I'm trying to think when this would have been used. When would she, like, be walking around like this? Because you encounter her... She only, like... You encounter her while she's standing, and she kind of walks a bit, and then she absorbs the Magatsui and transforms into this. And then you fight her, and of course you can get her later as a demon and use her in battle, but you never actually see her, like... This makes me think, like I said, as if you would be able to have her follow you around like a navigator. You know, with these, though, I bet someone could do it, you know, with a mod or something, and replace the navigator demons and use this as like a walking and a running animation when she's following you around. That would be really cool. I love the way the snake part of her looks moving around. I hope someone actually does that. Now I'm actually curious to see if any other demons have like a running animation too that wouldn't normally be used, or like a walking or running. I wonder if Abdiel actually has one. Let me see here. She's got running too. Okay. Let me zoom in on this. Huh. Well, I mean, this might be used during attack, but she's got like, the thing is She has like a regular attack, so I don't know if that would be used as like just they run towards an enemy and then attack them and then do the attack. So maybe that's what the running animation is used for. But even still, even this thing has... Look at this. I have a hard time believing... I'm like I said, I'm still trying to figure out when this would be used. Because this looks like... it doesn't look like... Is it used during an attack, maybe? I'm gonna have to actually play the game and see if there's like any sort of like running or dashing used before, I'd assume so. Maybe before a demon does an attack. I know sometimes they have to like, you know, they go towards the enemy and then attack them, but not always. Can you imagine having this thing follow you around as a navigator? At like its proper size? Demifiend. Let's see if he has any... Does he have a running? You can use him. I'm aware in Vengeance you're able to recruit him as, I guess like a guest though. It doesn't treat him as a demon. Yeah, I know. She also has a running animation. So, with the demons that have the running animations, you could probably use this to create navigators, which would be really hilarious if you had something as big as this following around. And then Creation Goddess Tao. I wonder if she has any... She has animations. Interesting. I don't think you ever get to use her as, for battle in your party. Because usually she only shows up like this in the cutscenes. Now, unless this is an unlock that I'm not aware of. But she has battle animations, huh? Did they just keep the ones from her other form? Maybe they did. They just didn't take them out. But yeah, you can actually, huh? I'm gonna have to... Let me check something here. What is the attack animation? Okay, yeah. It's the same one as this form. That's interesting. Can someone inform me if you get to unlock her? I don't think you do. I did Law Route. And I don't think she's unlockable or usable like this at all. But she's got like... I guess they just didn't remove the animations for the other form. But yeah, she's got like the garden animations. Like for when you're in the demon haunt. Huh, the garden? Does he show up in the garden? Weird, they have demon haunt animations for him? He does not show up, does he? Bizarre. He has a level up animation too? Was he meant to be usable in the party? Oh, that would have been cool if he actually joined you. And that did not happen. Like, I don't think that happens in the Chaos route either, if you choose that. You do get to fight him. And, given the events of, what happens in the Vengeance, canon of Vengeance, you know, he ends up losing Nuwa, so he's kind of on his own. It would have been cool to actually have him as a guest character, and that did not happen. But yeah, he's got Demon Haunt animations. A level up animation. Running, where he's just floating. Apparently? Interesting. But yeah, I guess, since there's all this stuff in the files implying that certain characters would have been used, or they just left the animations in there. In Yakumo's case, yes, you do fight him in the game, and so yes, he's got battle animations, but he's also got stuff that implies that maybe he was intended to join you in your party as a guest as well. So I guess it's going to be up to modders to maybe restore that if they want. Make him a guest character. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, you don't actually get to see the full body for Tiamat, because she's usually sticking out of, I think it was water. Let's see here. She's so massive, it's hard to see like her full body. I didn't even know she had legs. Like, she actually has legs. I thought she was just like a torso on a giant snake body with more heads coming out of it, but she actually has legs. You can't see the full legs because they usually clip through, I guess, the ground. But she actually has like a full body. Full snake body. Okay, this is definitely, I wanted to show this because this is a walking animation. When does this get used? I don't think this ever gets used in battle. Oh, man. I kind of wonder if they intend to have some of the demons on the overworld, because that doesn't happen with the fiends. You have these like lightning bolt looking things sticking out of the ground that you interact with, and then it takes you into the battle and there's a cutscene and all that. But you actually don't get to see them walking around. It would have been really cool to see this fucking thing just wandering around in a certain area instead of you just, you know, interacting with the thing sticking out of the ground. That is really cool. Yeah, this as well. I actually think in the cutscenes you probably do see the four horsemen walking or running, at least. Please tell me that Daisoujo has a running animation. He does, whatever this is. Huh. Okay, Matador. I need to see if Matador has a running animation. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if this is used in battle or not. Because like I said, it's possible they do perform like a run, like a really brief run and then hit the enemy. But if not, this is hilarious if this is not used. It's a shame we don't get the Hare of Inaba as a navigator. But you could probably make him a navigator if you wanted to. It'd be great too with this running animation as well. Having like a rabbit hopping right next to you. I like this, so this is also a running animation for, well, it says run, but it's just Samael flying, but it's really cool. I just bought Samael not too long ago, and I don't remember this being used. But it's like he's like very gracefully flying through the sky. You don't encounter Belphegors in the field, so does he have a running animation? Because normally he's just sitting on the toilet. He does? Oh no! Oh, you kidding me? He walks while he's still in the toilet. He's just sort of like hopping on the toilet. That is amazing. They really did make running animation for all of these guys, even if they don't show up on the field. Moloch is also a special battle as well. You don't run into them normally. They're special boss battles. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's awesome. Like I said, it might still be possible that they use this during battle, but I don't remember them ever. Like, I would have remembered. Look at this animation. It's awesome. Imagine like seeing something like this out on the field, running around. Yeah, Arioch is also a special battle. They have a walking animation for him, look. Wow. Yeah, I wonder if someone could, I mentioned navigators, but I actually wonder if, because I noticed in Shikon and in the Demon Castle, there's not a lot of enemy variety. And of course, Arioch's like a special boss, so you're not going to see a bunch of him running around. But it would be cool if someone did a mod where they actually put enemies like this in the field, where you can run across them, and it adds extra challenge to the game. And adds more enemy variety to the demons that actually show up running around. I think that would be cool if someone could make a mod like that. Beelzebub is also a special battle. Let me see. And then, of course, in the original game, you can only get him through fusion. You don't ever battle him or anything like that. Same with Mara as well. Oh, he's like a flying. Look at that. He's got like a flying animation. He just flies. Huh. Yeah, I definitely don't remember seeing this at all. He's got a pretty cool, look at that. Mephisto's like a real, show-off, too. He's like a little, like, end thing that he does. It's interesting because this animation, is too long to be something that would be used in battle for, like, a quick attack. Because if it was, he would just, like, you know, quickly float up the enemy, do the attack, and that's it. But, this is really long and also has, like, a thing that happens towards the end of it. So this would be used for, like, if he was out on the field. Huh. This is Amon. I have to know if Amon actually has a running animation. He's in a spot where he's just sitting, and he has a special battle, but, he just disappears. Zeus also has a flying animation. Flying running animation. Wow. That's amazing. You definitely don't encounter Satan in the field. And yet they gave him, they also gave me a flying running animation. Yeah, I don't remember this being used at all during the battle. Not at all. You know, I actually forgot to show this one. Since I'm going through the walking, running, like I said, this is just too fascinating. I forgot to check a few demons to see if they had some unique ones. Anahita has an interesting one. Well, where all her panels are straightened out above her, and she's... It looks like, actually, it looks like she's swimming through water, except through air. That's really cool. I actually hope these get used in, like, a future game. I didn't mention it before, and I didn't think about it when I was going through animations that aren't used, but since it's possible that they might make another game in the same engine, they could always be doing this to future-proof the demons. So maybe in, like, another SMT game, maybe we'd have demons like this. Instead of just countering them once, like as a special battle, maybe you'd have, like Anahita, for example, out on the field, and you'd like run into a bunch of her like you do other demons, and she could float around like this. It'd be really cool if they did that. Okay, yeah, they don't. Look at this, skipping around. It's such a shame that all of these are so interesting too, and it's such a shame that we don't really get to see these in the game. Here's Turbo Grandma, which is added into Vengeance. I believe she was from Soul Hackers 2. Funny enough, her walking, running animation that they have for her does not have her running. Can you believe that? Okay, I had to see this. This is one thing I actually had to see. Yeah, because you, in both Canon of Creation and Vengeance, do you only encounter, Take-Minakata? Is it Minakata? It's one of the two. But, you only encounter him in a special battle with the Kadetsu, so this is interesting. That is extremely hilarious. Masakado. I have to see. It's probably him floating. I have not actually fought him yet. I still need to go through the canon of creation, of course. Masakado was another entity that got cut from Vengeance. Or SMT5, but he was in the files for OG SMT5, but was added back in Vengeance. Yeah, so he just floats. Okay, I have a question. Does this... Do you guys remember this animation? Because I don't. The Adramalech are actually out on the field. But most of the time they're just standing there. Because they're in the, you encounter them in the Temple of Eternity. I don't remember them walking around like this. So I think that should be it for viewing the animations, at least. I did not see Algami in the files, and I did not see the Vengeance Goddess form of Yoko or a few other characters in the files, strangely enough. The Creation Goddess version of Tao was in there, along with like her, I guess the version you get in the party, like the second form. Yeah, it's strange that some of them, they did not show up in the files. I don't know if Algami... This is all Nahobino, so... Like I said, when I view the files for the original version of SMT5, there are battle animations and like a running animation stuff for Algami. That does not seem to be present in here. I could always check in the files, though, to see if they still exist or if they actually got taken out. Yeah, that's it for now. The debug menu is very cool, and I'm glad it was, it's something that got restored, but it is very buggy, and it tends to crash a lot when I try to access a little, like, test stuff that's in there. So it may be a process to see what else exists. Otherwise, you know, I could always use the old method and just go through the files and try and load those individual files of whatever programs run those, and just sort of look at things gradually. It'll take a lot longer to do, but it might be a better way to view them instead of trying to get stuff to run through the debugger. It's very cool, but it is not the most stable thing. But it is a tool that you can use to view stuff if you want, and very cool.